What's happening, guys? Happy Friday. I hope everyone had a good night in DFS last night. That was an awful slate as far as setting up the games, but the actual games themselves were really good, surprisingly. The Houston-Miami game went down to the wire. Chris Paul, if you played Chris Paul last night, that sucks. He was in a decent spot, but him pulling his hammy not even halfway through the game, that's never fun to lose points based on that. I've been there before with the Gary Harris injury, the AD injury last couple days ago. So I definitely feel you guys on that one. But that game and the Clippers game was really good. And if you followed my pick on Doncic from yesterday's video, you're welcome. He went off 50-plus point game. He was actually scaring me a little bit in the first half. He didn't really do a whole lot. I think he had 9 fantasy points going into halftime, and then he just took over in the third quarter and down the stretch. So that was good. If you're looking at going back to the Chris Paul injury going forward, and I haven't even done any kind of recon on games coming up or when Houston is even playing next, but James Harden, if he is still at 10.5, 11K, you lock him in just going forward until his price tag goes up, because the last time Chris Paul was out, he went just bonkers at a low, and at that lower price tag, he's just a lock for lineup. So keep an eye on that. I want to look at the future slates later on this evening after the games get tipped off. But let's get into tonight's slate. 10-game slate. The 2 games that stand out are going to be Atlanta and New York, and the Lakers and Pelicans. Just from a Vegas numbers standpoint, high over-unders, closely projected. The only issue with the Lakers game is that LeBron might be out, Ingram and Rondo are back, and you don't know where that kind of fits on the Lakers side, how many minutes people are going to play, how many the rotation, everything like that. And on top of that, Davis is out for the Pelicans, or not out for the Pelicans, he's questionable for the Pelicans, and you don't know how that's going to play, and you want to be able to get your matchups all set, or your lineup set, just like the last night's news with DeAndre Jordan. You know until tip. I, in my initial lineup, did not have him in, and I had to rearrange my lineup at like 10 o'clock once I knew that he was in, and it just I basically profited just a very little bit in the different games, just because if I had known that he was going to be in, my lineup would have been different. I would have had Barnes in, I wouldn't have played Matthews, and it was not optimal. But let's go to today's slate. The 4 picks that I have going, center is really deep, and the good thing about center tonight is there are a bunch of guys that have power forward eligibility, so odds are I'll be rostering 4 real centers, just because if I can fit it in with roster construction and salary. But the first guy that I'm going to is going to be Miles Turner at 7,300. He is facing Brooklyn, and Jared Allen, Ed Davis, they are not as good as Miles Turner. They're not. They're just not. Brooklyn's not good defensively against big men, so Miles Turner should eat. And at 7,300, he should put up. I'm expecting 45 to 50. I mean, knock on wood, but he's a lock for me tonight. Next is going to be Kevin Knox. He's been playing really well lately, and independent of game script, whether they're up by 20 or down by 20, he's in there in the fourth quarter. So this game is projected to be close, but this could easily go, Atlanta, Trae Young shooting 30 bricks from deep and New York jumping out to a 20-point lead, or the other way around. But either way, Knox is going to be in the game, and he's going to be producing. He's a little, his numbers haven't been as good the last 2 or 3 games, but Atlanta gives up a ton of points to the 3 and 4 position. And the 5 position. They have a fast pace, so they're going to be a lot of possessions, a lot of turnovers, but all the kind of stuff that comes with a fast-paced team. So that's going to increase points on both sides. So definitely lock him in, and from there we're going to go. So let's go back to forward. This is kind of a little bit riskier of a play, but I think it's still good. Marco Bellinelli at 3,600 should get a good amount of run tonight. He's at home against Minnesota. Minnesota, it's a good matchup against 3s and 2s, and he should. The only game in the last about 6 where he didn't hit value was that game against Philly, and he just didn't, for whatever reason, didn't get into the flow of the game, didn't get a lot of usage. But everything else, he's putting up 5, 6, 7 times value. So he's in a good spot tonight at home against Minnesota, 3,600. He's not a lock, he's not a must, but I'm definitely looking at him for that spot. So lock him in. Not lock him in, but let's put him in there for these purposes. And then last pick is going to be John Collins. If I can get him up. There we go. John Collins. So New York, not good against big men. Collins can do it all. He can go out, shoot 3s, block shots. And just like Knox, he's in there a lot. The only reason he didn't have more than 41 points against Washington was Washington struggles against big, thick, big men. And so Alex Len was in for pretty much the entire third quarter, which gave John Collins a little bit less of a run. Dedmon, the same thing. But that's not typical of the Hawks rotation. So he should get a lot of run. He's at 7,800, which is down $100 from when 3 nights ago when he played against Washington. So he should be looking good for this matchup. Dedmon I'm looking at as well. There are a lot of big guys. A lot. Center is so deep, and like I said before, there's a lot of power forward eligibility. So it's just fitting them in and finding the value plays. And if we have injury news like we've had the last 2 weeks, there will be value plays coming out. Ibaka might be out. Davis might be out. Mirotic is out. Randall, I believe he's playing, but he was out last game. I believe he's playing, but a lot of injury news, so stay tuned to that. Follow me on Twitter at the DFS Picks. I'll be posting out tonight if there are any injuries and pivots to what I'm talking about today. And subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, show me some love, and give me a thumbs up on this video. It help promote the channel and get word out there and everything like that. So good luck tonight, guys, and I'll check you guys later.